unfortunately for them. But at least we'll be waiting for them. We've dug in for 15 days now. We're sitting on previously Soviet-built fortifications, and the Soviets are very eagerly advancing towards our positions here. And it's 1942. It's only a matter of time before we encounter them. Look at that though, the Nazis are sending heavy tanks to stem their advance here at the tip. I see approximately maybe up to 10 or more divisions here of these heavy tanks. And could be that in winter things are not looking that bad. If these tanks can't change anything, what will? Let's send a few divisions here and see if that changes anything. I kind of expect that these will run out of supply very quickly. I already see that the Soviets are concentrating here. Look at that, they're concentrating against all those tanks with their anti-tank weaponry. Well, one thing we can do at least is try and save the ones in Crimea. Ones that are bogged down in Crimea. So that's the battle. First encounter against NKVD detachment. Defender damage bonus. River crossing penalty. Hungary has been accepted into the Axis. Well, when the front line is so bad, they are. Oh, look at that! Look at these. It looks like this is an expeditionary force from some nations. You can see clearly who are the Nazis and who are not Nazis. So we are trying to break through the river and fight these Soviets, but looks really difficult. They're barely taking any damage. Barely taking any damage whatsoever. So at least this area kind of is at least a bit under control, and we are trying to do some damage to them. But look at these formations. These formations with just smashes. It looks like they're keeping the Nazis in Crimea. Probably just eat them there. And now they're advancing. Okay, this attack turned out to be a disaster. Let's move on to a more favorable ground then. The river crossing will not be easily dealt with, and I see that there's an army placed by the Soviets. The US war machine kicks into gear. Following America's involvement in the war, manufacturers around the US became as efficient at producing war machines as they had been producing peacetime goods. Companies like Ford and General Motors managing to change from cars to bombs and aircraft engines at the same time due to the number of men overseas fighting the war. Use more women for manufacturing, amassing a total of 18 million women employed. Okay, so we are standing at the front line with some of our troops. However, as you can see, some of us are already losing supply. Unfortunately, that's the case. We don't know how much supply Romania has though, but we can take a look. And we see that they have very little supply. It looks like they will not stand the ground for a long time. I'm going to look at this battle right here. During the struggle, 2 of our troops died, more than 7,000 of theirs died. Okay, it's time for these troops of mine to go back. This is a disastrous area, an area from which nobody will come out alive. Even all that armor didn't got as much. Oh, look at that. These came from the belly of the beast. And these are Soviet allies. Okay, we're here going to wait for them to advance. Sooner or later they will. The front stabilized just a little bit here. Scrap metal drive. No thanks. Right now thanks. Not right now thanks. Let's try and move on to the offensive now. See if that changes anything. If anything happens, we'll just retreat to the defensive positions over here. It's fine. Everybody is in contact. The respective units. No food rationing. Okay. So we're on the river now, which is good. Very good. And everybody kind of amassed very large formations there. Including the Soviets. It looks like they see this as an opportunity. Nowhere on the front line, there's so many troops is there. Okay. Trading away 1,000. Which is quite a bit. Okay, let's... Oh, we can't attack? We ran out of supplies. Look at that. We don't have any supplies. Okay, leaving the positions won't work without supplies. So that's the thing. We will not fight without supplies. And that's probably the thing about this difficulty bonus, is that we don't have supplies to fight the Soviets. And the Soviets just simply will smash us. That. However, I think that in European territory we can do a lot more damage than we otherwise would be. In any case, this entire sector has been so greatly attacked by the Soviets and so undersupplied that it turned out to be a disaster. In any case, the Nazis kind of moved here. Look at that, super heavy tank formations here also. So Japan enforced another conquer. And they are successfully fighting the Soviets here, but the Soviets amassed a considerable force also. And they are gonna soon move into India, the Japanese as well. In here, Australians have successfully held them. Okay. Let's continue this. Looks like we can prepare the troops. But I no longer believe in that. Supply isn't there. Okay. Next time shouldn't be as difficult maybe due to the supply issues. But we'll see how well Soviets will do. Lieutenant General Frederick E. Morgan appointed as KOSSAK. Lieutenant General Sir Frederick Edgeworth Morgan, KCB, was a British Army officer who fought in both World Wars. He is best known as the Chief of Staff to the Supreme Allied Command, the original planner of Operation Overlord, a graduate of the Royal Military Academy. What was that battle all about? It looks like my troops here just can't escape. To go there first. A graduate of the Royal Army Academy, Woolwich, Morgan was commissioned as second lieutenant in the Royal Field Artillery in 1913. During the First World War, he served as a Western Front as an artillery staff officer. Afterwards, he served 2 long tours with the British Army in India. Shortly before the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939, Morgan was promoted to brigadier and assumed command of the 1st Support Group of the 1st Armored Division, which he led during the Battle of France. In May 1942, he became a lieutenant general and given command in the 1st Corps. Morgan's headquarters was designated Force 125 and given the task of dealing with German thrust through Spain to Gibraltar that never occurred. In March 1943, he was appointed Chief of Staff to the Supreme Allied Commander designate. KOSSAK, as KOSSAK, he directed Spring might clear the attack again. In May 1942, he was become a lieutenant general given the command of the first. Okay, so as KOSSAK, he directed the planning for Operation Overlord when General Dwight Eisenhower became Supreme Allied Commander. Major General Bedell Smith became Chief of Staff at Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, while Morgan became Deputy Chief of Staff. So that's how this guy looks like. So they say that we can attack again, and let's try this and see how's the supply. As you can see here, the supply is still very much a disaster. Snow eases off. Okay. It's April. It's still chilly. Very chilly. At least we spent most of our time here in fortified areas. And that's it. As you can see here, the troops are being annihilated in Crimea. Looks like these Germans now are going to fight in Sevastopol. They do have some supply there though. Let's see how things gonna go for us. Spring starts to clear. We can load ourselves a couple of tank regiments. Let's call these something like 97. YouTube light armor. We'll place them under the 2nd Africa Corps and we'll send them straight to the front line. More national decisions, redirect your manpower, more officer training, better research. Yeah, let's go for better research. Exchange IC for resources, worth it. Medium fleet, no need. And that's that. More research can be conducted. That's surprising. So let's go after good weapons here and there. Branch upgrade, camouflage designs. What about artillery? Range, artillery carriage. Anything about operations, direct fire? Or better, armor unit combinations, and one more. Special forces branch upgrade. Now machine gun focus battalion, so that will make sure our infantry fights better also. So we do have a bunch of troops here, but if they don't have supply they can't fight, and as you can see they already are running out of supply completely. So I'm not even going to bother fighting in Soviet Union without a supply. In any case, let's attack them. Okay, look at that. So that's the attack that's commencing, and our divisions are being shattered one by one. We will retreat. Let's go back as soon as possible. And that's it. 10-7. Hopefully they won't end up being overrun. Heavy industry focus, no need that. Bank for international settlements, not worth it. I didn't want to lose my leadership, so that's why I didn't went for any kind of economic focus anymore. Their offensive here just isn't showing up, and without a supply my divisions can't fight. Let's send a corps somewhere towards the middle and see if we can conduct operations there. Could be that we can't. These guys are coming back. It's April 1943, and there are massive concentrations here, but unfortunately no supply for us. We do much about it. That's how it is. That's what we get. These can merge with me. So these troops right here are traveling and they are already experiencing serious supply issues. Oh, look at that, the Polish launched their own rebellion on us in a really bad timing and without a doubt. However, these troops of mine can actually travel here. Let's travel there. Okay. So interesting supply position here. It looks like they didn't manage to enter Romanian territory. We're prepared to repel them there. So what's the problem here? It looks like it's the marshes here. That's the problem. So we better keep clear of the marshes and move towards the center. Okay.